There we go, man. I'm looking, getting these notifications. We tweeting everywhere. We on Twitch tonight. I didn't know we on Twitch, but that's all right too. Listen,
Yeah,
shouts out to
yeah,
them.
man.
Montel Allen, James
Yes,
Hicks,
sir.
just me. But let's talk about him first. Listen, Team No Sleep, November 30th. What it do, brother? How you living?
Man, blessed as usual, man.
Yeah.
Glad to be 6 feet over instead of 6 feet under. And, take everything one day at a time. But I mean, you know how we do, just getting ready for the holidays, man, ready for family, friends, and definitely reach out to those loved ones, man, because this is that time of year where people start feeling it.
Yes, sir.
So that's it.
I love it, man. I love it. Listen, I see folks jumping in. Appreciate everyone. We see Dr. Cox here, moderator of all moderators. That's a bad man right there. And I see Senior in the building. So as we say, the show can officially get started. Y'all know Team No Sleep, social impact of sport. Having that mission and having that title, right? There's always, unfortunately, and I think folks understand this, there's always there's always stories that we lean into that aren't happy, right? That always have issues to deal with, that always are awkward sometimes. But again, like we always say, no one else is talking about them. We're talking about them. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. You know the Kitna name if you're a football fan. You may not know Jalen, but you probably know his dad, John, right? Former NFL quarterback. So here it is. Florida QB Jalen Kitna, jailed on child pornography counts. He's backup quarterback out there for University of Florida, 19 years old. Again, he's the son of former NFL QB John Kitna, and today he got charged with 5 counts of child pornography. You can read this story if you want to. I'll put the description in the notes. In the story, young Kitna, who is a redshirt freshman, came on and said, "Hey, I didn't know that these were child pornography photos." Right? He's coming out and saying that I thought that this was not sexually explicit material. He thought it was legal because he found them online. That was his statement. I found these online, so I thought that these were legal, and he shared them out on his Discord server, which is another social media kind of community aggregator. Ignorance of the law, and you know better. I'm just gonna say that, Jalen, you know better. Come on now, you're 19 years old. I'm not sure. We've all done some things when we were teenagers, when we were young, probably still now when we're 53 years old, but you thought they were legal because you found them online and you sharing out these pornography photos, and now you caught up. Now you suspended from the team indefinitely. You done blew your football life up because you wanted to see some pictures. Montel, talk to us about this, man.
I'm gonna look at it from a little different angle.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say, look at it from his defense right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. I think I don't know what it is for them to lead enough to say they got to arrest him and do it on it. But I can tell you right now, it's hard to decipher somebody that's underage to an adult, especially when they're in their teen years to an adult. Now, what's the difference between a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old posting raunchy pictures? I can't tell, and I'm a 52-year-old man. I don't know if a 19-year-old can tell.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's a decent point. Yeah, it's a decent point.
So I don't know if he, like you said, he found them online. He didn't know who they were. He thought there was either attractive or unattractive women or whatever he put on there, and he put it out there on his thing. I mean, in this day and age, I'm perfectly honest, I can't tell sometimes if they're a man or a woman, right? If you're a transgender, you can't tell. So for them to say, for him to say that statement, it doesn't surprise me. That's not a statement that surprises me. What surprises me is that I wonder what the content of those pictures were that he sent out. Not that I want to see him, but what to let the police to say they need to arrest him.
Yeah,
that's the part that I don't understand. I don't know how bad they were or what they were. And if he couldn't tell they were underage, how did the police be able to tell that they were underage people that were in those photos?
That's a decent point, right? And so we won't get graphic, but we'll get descriptive, right? I mean, if they were just photos of folks, then that's one thing. But if they were photos of folks who we find out now are underage and they were doing some activities, that could be kind of that delineation of where now we at 5 charges, carrying, second-degree felony, up to 15 years in jail, and fines up to $10,000. Right. So
But again,
it's dependent on what the actions were in those. If it was just photos, again, you're right. I can't
but
tell nothing from
but even
nobody.
if that, but let's say even the actions in the photos, how
Hmm.
do you decipher if that person's 16 or 18 years old? You don't know. Like we have cases of these underage girls get into clubs,
Mm-hmm.
grown men having sex with them. How's that man supposed to know she was an underage person into a club?
Mm-hmm.
We just had a recent incident with the situation in San Diego State.
Okay.
He had sex. That young lady that was young at the party, and she unfortunately got raped.
Yeah.
So where him being 19 years old, how is he supposed to decipher if that's a young person or a kid or a child or a minor, in opposed to someone that's 18 years old that can do this stuff? That's the part I don't understand. Whether they were engaging in an activity or whether it was just a still photo. Doesn't matter. How's the police department able to do their due diligence to say, hey, this person's underage? And he said, I couldn't tell. I don't know. I thought it was just a picture that I saw. So my question is now, is ignorant bliss in this situation? He's 19 years old. I can completely understand the pictures that he saw and he thought that was an adult and he sent them out. That's fine. Okay, he made a mistake. He didn't know that was child pornography or whatnot. That. I'm wondering how the police deciphered that was a child and those are minors in those pictures. Now, if it's obviously minors in those pictures, like those are kids, then that's a different scenario.
Right.
My assumption that the pictures were of young ladies that were kind of around his age that do things like from OnlyFans and all that other stuff that they're involved in at those young ages, and they're doing a lot of activity. He probably saw a picture and he posted it. I think ignorance is bliss in this case, in this scenario.
I mean, so let's take it a step further, and I completely understand where you're coming from, and I like what Kevin is saying. Right? Is he the only one that's responsible? Is the legal system going to go after whomever posted them online? Right? I mean, is there going to be a domino effect of all right, Jalen's going to go into the room and he's going to start coughing up names. Listen, I got him from MontelAllen.com. Right, so they're gonna go.
Hey! Don't say that.
Wait a minute. I know. Hold on. Let's strike that from the record.
But see, that scenario. This is the part I don't get. So if they were able to trace him and know that he did it, how come they can't trace the people who actually put him out there? How come they can't trace?
I'm sure they know. Listen, they know. I know.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know who it is, but I have the technology and the whereabouts of I can track things down on the internet. So if my little self, I can do these things. Yeah.
So you're gonna blame the 19-year-old that's in football, that's the football player that's on the team, that he's responsible for doing some still photos that he found online. I'm saying, why ain't the online police finding the people that actually posted them and figured out where they're coming from and arrest those people who's putting it out there and who's doing these situations and who put these young ladies or these young people, young ladies or young men, I don't know who's looking at, in this unfortunate situation. And again, I want to know, how do you know they're underage? Like, how do you? I can look at a picture online right now and see somebody. I can't tell I don't know what age they are. I really don't. Some people look way older. Some people look way younger. I don't think, me personally, I don't think I look my age.
No, you don't. You look much younger. You're about 32.
Yeah.
32.
Yeah. I can pass for that, and I appreciate that. I was over like 35, but that's cool.
Well, it depends on if you shave.
Yeah, but
I know I look 82 right now, but it's all right.
Yeah. I'm just saying that young man. I'm just saying we're crucifying this young man, and I hate the headline title: "Distributing child pornography."
Mm-hmm.
Again, it may have been a picture he couldn't decipher that was a young lady or a young man in that picture that he was sending out. In that case, ignorant is bliss, man. He can't tell. I can't tell sometimes. I can't tell how old some people are. When we look at them. So it's really like Steph Curry. I can't tell how old Steph Curry. Steph Curry's still he's 19 years old, 20 years old.
Steph Curry got that Benjamin Buttons, right? He does. He look like.
You know what I mean? So I'm really wondering why. Again, Kevin, like you said, in a different frame, why are they holding this young man accountable to that extreme? Like, this is an extreme. This ain't saying, hey, you just found something online.
It's such an extreme, right? The story just came out a few hours ago. I sent it to you, probably at 3:00 this afternoon. We don't know if he's still in jail or not. He may still be locked up in jail, right?
Yes,
We don't
yes.
know if there's been bail that's been posted for this young kid. We don't know, again, that due diligence that the police did to say they know that this person is 17, 16, however old. So we don't know all of those steps.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
none of
yeah.
that's even been fleshed out. And I continue to refresh the story. There's still no new news. This happened at 3:20 p.m. Eastern time. So
Well, I did.
this is hot
I
off the
refreshed it
press.
too. I saw a headline on it. I just saw a headline. Florida QB arrested on child pornography charges on the AP Press, which just was released just recently.
Yeah.
So it's starting to grab legs, but it's starting to grab legs, and I can understand why. But I also believe you need to be careful with words you say, because that's going to tarnish this whole young man's career if it's
Yeah.
something that's really and truly an accident or incident that he really didn't realize he was doing. Again, you can't decipher. I don't think he has the aptitude to decipher what age they were, unless there were obviously kids in the picture, right? Unless you can obviously see a kid. But if it's someone that's around from 15 to the age of 18, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I know for a fact everyone can't tell everybody's age.
That's true.
And I
That's
want to
true.
know how
Yeah.
the police were able to decipher that they were underage, and how do we expect a 19-year-old kid that they can decipher when he just got out? He's 1 year removed from high school. He barely got maybe some hair on his chin and maybe a little bit of mustache. He still probably like the Pokemon and all that stuff. Still Power Rangers.
He's still collecting Matchbox cards. So am I.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
man.
not,
He's a
not going to
baby.
say
He's
anything
still a kid
about that. But
himself.
hey, Kev, I got a couple other comments too. But Kevin is saying, why is this type of content being distributed by an athlete? Can't answer that. Right? Don't know what's going on with this young cat over in Florida. Listen, he's a quarterback at the University of Florida. I know he's got women
Groupies.
interested in.
He's
He's
got
got groupies. He's got folks
Mm-hmm.
that are interested in him. For his daddy played in the NFL, so there's some of that money in the family. And I like this comment here from Mom. So appreciate you for being here as well. Why are all these athletes getting into so much trouble, right? You don't hear about old folks getting that and what's happening with the world right now. And I think this has always been happening. That's a great question too, Mom. But I think this has always been happening. But with the advent of technology and the advent of social media, we know about it right when it happens, and you can't hide it. Right?
Yep.
Nothing is covert anymore. It's all overt. I know when you walk the street. I know when you go to the grocery store. There's cameras in front of you. Right? Nobody cares about anybody else, right? You think about everyone is going after, not everyone, people are going after likes and follows and retweets and trying to build up their own personal thing. So there's always a camera in front of you, especially if you like this Kitna cat who has potential probably to get drafted in the NFL and become a millionaire by the time he's 20. Someone's filming him and people are watching him. And it's always been happening. We just see it now exactly when it happens, as opposed to 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road when they retire or when they pass away. We are seeing this stuff in real time, in real life. And it's always been happening. It's unfortunate that it does continue to happen, and we have to talk about these stories. But yeah, this has always happened, man.
I think the worst thing out of all this is the negative stories is what catches our attention, not the positive.
Yeah, that's true.
The negative stories is always going to get all the likes. And and those things,
that's what's sexy,
in relation
right?
to what
it is, right? The bad news is what's sexy, right? So
exactly.
It's unfortunate. That's what sells newspapers. That's what's the first story that you hear on the news. And instead of leading with something good that happened in the news, why is it? And think about this, folks. Why is it always the murder, the volcano blowing up, the typhoon, whatever that starts the news? And then right before it goes off at midnight, when everyone's already asleep, then they talk about the good story of the day, right? The feel good story.
Yeah.
Why can't we change the dynamic and the mindset and lead with something good? But again,
I totally believe. But back to this young man, man. Before we move on, man, I really do. I won't say I feel sorry for him, but he's caught in a really unfortunate predicament, right? I mean, he's probably suspended indefinitely. He's probably going to lose his scholarship based on some things, if things aren't figured out soon. He's going to have an arrest record. All things bad, right? Trying to start a football career at a high level, to have aspirations to go to the professional level. So I feel sorry for I don't feel, like I said, I don't feel sorry for him. I feel bad. He's kind of in a bad predicament, and hopefully this is just an ignorance bliss situation. Like I said, he just didn't realize the age of those kids, the people that he was sending out that information. Hopefully it's that situation, and everything kind of move forward in that. And if it is the other situation, then this young man needs help. Obviously, if he's watching kiddie porn or something like that, then he needs he needs to really get that under control. His family needs to get him help to make sure, those things don't happen again. So
yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that happens. Kevin's talking about people love to talk and gossip about negativity and stroke the conversation by creating fear. My goodness, that's a powerful statement.
It's a powerful statement.
Wow, Kevin Cox coming with some heaters, boy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not too.
You dropped the mic on that one right there, Kevin. You can drop the mic on that one, boy.
God, all right. Let's go and get into something else right quick. T.O. Terrell, not Terrell. It's Terrell. There's a little inflection there on the vowels, folks. He's from Texas, so you got to say it the right way with the right enunciation. T.O. has 2 houses. I'm gonna start with that. He's got one in Florida and he's got one in Southern California. Y'all know, so he splits his time between those 2 locations. Y'all saw T.O. posted a video, was it about a month ago, of a woman that got in his face and was nervous. Big black man like T.O. out there. What was he doing? Cutting his grass or just running, just jogging?
Watering his lawn or something.
Okay,
crazy,
he was doing something like that. Man, who this big black man out here in the middle of the night in this rich neighborhood? Who is he? And turned out to be a situation, that was not right for the young lady. She was all wrong, quote unquote. We call them, Karen, right? Folks that have problems with anyone that's not like them. I reference that because now T.O. was down in Southern California recently. Man went to the store to get something to drink. Where was he at? He went to the store. He went to the little convenience store to buy something. CVS pharmacy. Who knows? He was probably going to get some iced tea. Probably going to go get, I don't know, some chewing gum, whatever. Walks in. I'm paraphrasing the story. He sees a 49ers fan. 49ers fan says, "What's up, T.O.? Good to see you. Love the 49ers." T.O. says, "Cool. Well, appreciate you. Appreciate the love. We all fans. We'll dap it up." Another gentleman overhears this and hears San Francisco 49ers fans and starts starts hurling negativity, not at T.O., but at the other cat who says he's a 49ers fan. They start going back, in fact, chirping it up a little bit. T.O. tries to get in the middle of it and be like, calm, trying to squash the situation. Situation doesn't get squashed. T.O. was about to pay for his stuff. The aggressor dude swings at T.O. I'm going to stop right there. Terrell Owens is 48 years old. He could still play. If he wanted to get out there on the field today, he could still be a dynamic weapon out there for any team at wideout. So the man stays in shape. The man is a beast. He is LeBron James at 48 years old. The dude probably shouldn't have swung on T.O. T.O. defended himself according to his recollection of the story, swung at the dude, popped the dude in the head, put them hands on him, tried to squash the situation again with the other gentleman, and was trying to protect really the San Francisco 49ers fan. But it's a shame that now this is making news. No one was there. The guy that T.O. hit didn't call the police, so there's no police record. But again, TMZ caught this, so someone was out there with their cell phone, caught the footage. It's a shame that now it's in the news. T.O. is out here hitting people. There's going to be a narrative that Terrell Owens is out here fighting folks. He's in Florida. He's fighting with old white ladies. Now he's in Southern California, and he's beating up San Francisco 49ers fan. It's unfortunate that society is like that, but shouts out to T.O. for standing up. Right, from the perspective of the story that I've heard thus far, T.O. did what he had to do, and he protected himself, and he actually protected the other cat that was a 49.
Hey man, he did a Charles Barkley on him. You're lucky to get thrown through the window like Charles Barkley did that dude back in the bar back in the day in Phoenix.
I remember that.
T.O.
put them hands on him.
I think people need to, one, you got to keep your hands to yourself, especially in a situation. And T.O. has every right to defend himself.
Yes.
Guy swung on him. T.O. put that 1-2 chicken combination on him and called it a day. And it happened just to get on film. We know if somebody wasn't filming it or the cameras in CBS didn't film it or whatnot, this probably would have never made news. I think T.O. would have probably walked into the sunset and not even worried about it. Just kind of kept it going. But now this is, like you said, the narrative people are going to come to their own conclusion of the narrative. They ain't going to say, hey, T.O. was defending himself between, from this irate friend or this fan that took a swing on him. The narrative that we saw, hey, T.O. gets into a fight or T.O. gets into a brawl at the store. Or, the narrative is never not telling the truth, at least from the perspective that we heard so far. So, again, he has the right to defend himself like any person does if somebody puts their hands on him. 2, dude, lucky it didn't get worse because he could have probably beat him down a lot worse.
Lucky T.O. wasn't in a bad mood, right? I mean, lucky he didn't get him on a bad day.
I'm glad, T.O. did what he did and kind of subdued the guy and walked away with it. Because it could have been Mike Tyson like that dude. He did that dude on the plane. Peppered him up in the face. And Mike was waiting for some more if anything else jumped on, right? So I think that there's a clean narrative going here, man. Like, don't mess with professional athletes. Charles Barkley, basketball player, threw the guy through the bar window. Mike Tyson was on the plane, peppered the dude up in the backseat and blackened his eye and faced him up. T.O. now, you talk to him with CMC the wrong way, he look like he's going to get 2 hands put on you. Leave these athletes alone.
Leave them alone. Listen, don't ask for no photo. Just don't. Right? Don't ask for no photos. Don't try to get no autograph. Just if you are a fan and you in their presence, just go ahead and relish that moment and be like, okay, cool. I was in the same CVS as T.O. and tell that story. Don't roll up on them and try to say you can beat him in a foot race. Don't try to. Don't try to talk about
the challenging of a. I mean, they're professionals for a reason, right? That's why they're professional athletes. Don't try to get into this situation where you want to put them in harm's way. And let's be perfectly honest. Some of these people are looking for a payday. They are looking for a payday.
That's true.
They're looking for a situation to draw them in to do something that will make them make these athletes react a certain way so they can get a payday. Excuse me. So I'm glad. Actually, in certain instances, I'm glad it was on film so they could see that guy was being the aggressor and someone going on first. Because if it becomes a he say she say kind of conversation, who knows how that will go in court? If he says that, hey, T.O. assaulted me, oh really? What happened? Now it becomes his story versus their story, and there's no witnesses. So the camera can work in 2 different ways. Yeah, it's invasive. It's invasive to your privacy, and it's always big brother's always watching you. But on the other hand, especially people in a situation like that, is protecting them because they can keep their money and they can't get sued.
That's true. I'm thinking there was some intoxication or something was affecting this dude because you got to be you can't be 100% right to want to pick this fight with T.O. and then to not file a report, right? If someone put their hands on me, right, and I got knocked down, I'm gonna let and if I lose, I may file a report. But I think this guy probably wouldn't slept in it. He wouldn't cried in the car or whatever.
I don't know why the situation, but to be honest with you, he might not have filed a report because if someone said he swung on her first, he would be the one that would have got arrested and not Terrell Owens or Terrell Owens when he got arrested. So he might
man. It's like
let me just take this L and let me take this L and just get on up out of here. Let me get up out of here real quick. Grab my beer and go ahead and get up on
and just move. And like my man TD Tony is saying right here, man, listen, if you don't get that picture, don't walk away mad. Don't be butthurt because you didn't get that. Just you relish in the fact that you were in the presence of someone you followed and you thought was cool. Just take it and just be cool with it.
You know what's funny, man? What if he would have got the best of Terrell Owens? This dude would be all over the news.
That would be that would be that would be on the front page right there.
He would be overnight instant sensation, right? Man. This the guy that knocked out T.O. This the guy that caught Mike Tyson slipping off. Even though they're old and they're professionals, all that. If that dude was just to get the best of him, he would be on TMZ talking about how he got the best of him and making all kinds of money on a situation that he provoked.
Bruh, so, listen, Scott Van Pelt will be talking about that tonight on SportsCenter. That would be his bad break or his bad beat for the night.
Yeah,
T.O. got knocked down, man. But
like I said, man, I think the cameras it's a gift and a curse in certain situations, and in this instance, I think it was a gift. So, like I said, if anything came up, T.O. has some film to protect his story, what his narrative is about what happened.
There it is. All right, let's go and move on. We got some more stories we want to talk. I'm over here. I'm looking at Twitter. I see y'all. Look, come on over to YouTube because that's where you can engage with the community. This is where we keep it happening. I love the fact that you over on Twitter too, and that's a great community. But if you want to engage, ask questions, and talk to us, come on over to YouTube and things of that nature. Mr. Cox is saying the one who is a regular guy when I met him in the street was Jerry Rice. Okay, cool. Listen, yeah, I've seen Jerry at a few events too. He knows he's the GOAT too. Jerry know he the GOAT and he walk around with that swagger. But
but I got one better, man. I got one better. I've met T.O. before. I met T.O. in Miami.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he was so cool. We were standing in line to get mopeds. He's so cool, man, that he paid for our mopeds that we rented.
I love it.
So he was behind us, and we let him cut in line because he said he was in a hurry. And was like, "Oh man, just go ahead and go in front." And he was like, "Man, I'll pay for their mopeds." He paid for all 3 of our mopeds to rent for the day.
That's cool.
The dude's cool, man. He was a cool dude. He had a conversation with us. You know, we're from California. He's in Miami. Everything. He's a good dude, man. Genuine. I just believe, like anybody else, you just can't cross the line, right?
Yeah.
You can't provoke anyone. You can only provoke people for so much before they can tell they're only going to take it.
That's what anyone.
Yeah, that's what anyone.
Stay out of the personal space and don't try to crouch and overcrowd. And yeah, you can't just roll up on people, man. God.
Yeah, and not talking trash. Not talking to the trash with the point where you think you're gonna swing on somebody.
Yeah.
Man, come on. I mean, he deserved to get that, like I said, that 2-piece chicken and go home and go have a beer and sit on the couch.
He deserved to get them hands. He put them hands on him. I ain't mad at him. All right, let's stay in the football realm. T.O. was great in football. Did he get? He's in, right? He got a jacket. Yeah, that's right. He got in. Okay, we didn't skip him. That's cool that he was able to get in. New quarterback, new team, old quarterback. Stories surrounding him coming back and playing. We've talked about Deshaun Watson for a long time. We talked about him when he was in Houston. We talked about him before everything broke out. And then we started talking about all the situations that broke out. Mm-hmm. Now he done been traded. He's over in Cleveland. This is a new season. He hadn't played yet. Season almost over. He had that 11-game suspension. I want to talk about Cleveland as a whole too, because I wonder what Deshaun can do. Long story short, he coming back next weekend, right? He'll be there Sunday night playing, and consequently or coincidentally, he playing them Houston Texans. He playing against Houston.
That was a conscious decision by the NFL to make sure that happened.
Listen, folks, if y'all don't understand that this is big business. If y'all don't understand that the NFL is big business, 11-game suspension for Houston Texans quarterback that's now traded to the Cleveland Browns. How long are we going to suspend them? Or when did they possibly play the Houston Texans? Oh, that 11, that's what we're going to do. We're going to suspend them for 11, not 10, not 9, not 12. Just so we can have all the TV cameras and all the newspaper reporters talking about the Browns and Texans. Deshaun Watson's coming back. He had an interview, right? He had press day, as all teams do before the game. Today, he didn't say anything. He didn't want to talk about the situation. He want to talk about, focus on the team, focus on the scheme. We are here to beat Houston. We are here to do this, yada, 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 all that stuff. But his teammates are excited. They down to see this, because Deshaun got skills. He can play the game of football at a high level at the quarterback position. But let me start with that first. Are you ready for Deshaun to come back? And do you think that he can perform well enough to remain starting quarterback for Cleveland Browns?
I think it's going to take some time. Excuse me. It's going to take some time for him to get his skills. And we're talking about football skills to get that back in sync. You know, football at that level is played a super high, super fast go. He's only been practicing and trying to simulate that. You know, you can't simulate it when it comes to when you're in the game and guys are really trying to physically tear your head off and trying to make sure they get at him. And you're not now. The crazy part, he's getting thrown into hostile environment against a team that they think the team that thinks he betrayed him.
Yes,
you know, that he left and he did all these things to their city and he put a black eye on that team and so on and so on. So they're going to throw him into the lion's den and says, let's see how you perform. So now the game's even going to be amped up even more. You know, you're not just going against an opponent that wants to get you. You're going to go up against an opponent that probably in their locker room saying, we hate him and he's enemy number one. So now everybody's gusto to go get him. to kind of go get him. So his skill set, I think, is going to take some time. He might catch fire somewhere, and old habits are hard to die. He's been throwing the ball all of his life, so he's probably going to know how to do that and know how to get and come. I think he's just going to have to get adjusted to the speed. Once he figures that out, I think he's going to be fine. The crazy part about this is the narrative is going to go two ways.
Where you going? Okay, because it's in the comments already, and I'm going to bring them up. If you, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what you say.
The first narrative is going to be Deshaun is back. Look at him. He hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah.
He's a great quarterback.
Okay.
Or Deshaun is rusty as hell. He ain't back. He's in loss of touch. He ain't ready. Right? Those are the two narratives going to be on him. So I believe it's going to be it's either feast or famine with this situation for him. Now, as far as the game is concerned and Cleveland's concerned, I think the Cleveland Browns is a good enough team to beat them, regardless of he was playing or not. But it's going to be interesting to kind of see how this thing kind of plays out dynamically. And more so important, how is this going to do in the viewership? With these women that are still, very active in there, protesting against him.
Yeah.
How is this going to kind of shape up?
Yeah. Let me tell you about and you know this, right? So, because I know you follow sports as well, and I see Tony is asking about it right here. Talking about the women, they're going to be there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A handful of his accusers are going to show up to the game. Talking about, it's him. He the one. Right? So cameras are going to be all over them. These ladies, these women, these accusers are going to be at the game. That's going to, that may
affect his psyche.
Trick him, right? Affect him in terms of his performance as well. They're going to draw some attention because that's going to be a new cycle as well. They're going to be there with banners on, T-shirts on, hats on, whatever, saying Deshaun Watson is the. So, there's that whole story. There's that whole aspect. That's a trip, right? So you got to think about that. He's got to be prepared for that. The other aspect of this was, I don't think Jacoby Brissett was all that bad.
No, absolutely.
Jacoby Brissett actually played really well.
Very excellent.
Right?
Yes.
And I would let Jacoby keep playing. I know you paid a lot of money for Deshaun.
Yeah,
I know you paid a lot of money, but Jacoby Brissett put you in a position to win.
You can't pay a person that kind of money and not give them the chance and not play them.
That's the big business part.
But that's the business part of it.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the business part of it. You can't do that. Now, I believe this much. I believe Deshaun will have a short leash in this game. If he's not performing well in the beginning, Jacoby Brissett is going to come in right away so he can make sure they win the game.
And Jacoby is ready. He's ready too.
He's ready. He's ready. So I think that might be the case. But they're going to give Deshaun enough rope to hang himself on the field before they say, hey, pull him and put Jacoby in. They're going to say, hey, if he throws an interception, okay, those two, we're still in the game. It's still close. We're not out of it. But if it gets to a point where they get 2 or 3 scores down and they're not moving the ball at all, Jacoby Brissett is then going to come in. So I think Deshaun obviously has the skill set. I think he's been practicing. I think he's there. I just think he has to get adjusted to the speed. Once that speed adjustment and it catches up with him, now we'll probably see the Deshaun Watson of old or something. And also, he's going to have that confidence booster, right? He's going to have to make that pass if somebody makes a great catch, or he's going to have to break out in the pocket and make that long run. Once those juices start flowing, you start getting into it, we may see the same thing. But also on the flip side, how's he going to react when he gets hit? Remember, he ain't been hit in 2 years.
So think about that. He going to get hit, and it's personal. Right, so his old line is gonna watch him. He's got his tackle gonna be watching his blind side. But these fellas, these big 200-300-pound folks are coming after him because again, he done dissed him, he done dissed the city, he done dissed the team, all that. So you got linebackers that's coming, right?
You
setting up the play, right? And you looking for the spy. You looking for the one who's watching everything. All of them spies. They're going to be all out blitzes every single play. So they come. And
you're saying that. You remember, man. Again, he hasn't been in the situation, so the peripheral's got to be on and popping. His peripheral's got to be on. Like everything has to be on tack for him to not get.
It's going to be a fast game.
It's going to be a fast game for him, and him coming off that way. So I'm really interested just to see how he reacts in the first couple of drives. If he got it, if he doesn't got it, how patient they're going to be with him. What success is he going to have? Are they going to take it slow, hand the ball off a couple times just to kind of get him in the game, kind of get his flow and get him? Because you also got to think, the other part of it, he's going to be excited.
True.
Like your butterflies is up and excited, not just a part of failing or being successful, but I'm excited to be playing. Take a beer away from you for 3 years, and then somebody puts a nice cold one in front of your face and says, "Hey, man, have a nice sip."
There you
And
go.
that's
Make
your
it
favorite
play.
drink. You're gonna be like, man,
it's a whole
woo.
season, right? So
Yeah.
because the season now is longer, he's been out for 11 games. So that was back in the day. That was a full season. So he's been out, taking snaps with the
years.
second and third string, and
Well,
a few snaps from the first.
He's been out because even his last season he was out. I think at the end with injury.
So
he's been out.
That's right. Yeah.
He's been out for a while, man. He's been out for a long time. Like, a good long time. So I don't know. I mean, it's not like people can't come back from 2 years being off or be injured and rehabbing and all that stuff from coming back. But all these things are said, he's gonna come into this game with hostile environment. And this is the part that no one's thinking about. Since he hasn't played that speed of the game, what if he gets hurt?
Yeah. We've seen a lot of stories lately, and you've talked about this too, right? Playing on different turfs and as opposed
playing on
to
that field,
regular grass. And yeah, you're right.
Well, I'm just saying, playing that fast speed, playing on that field, doing everything they're doing. Remember, his body ain't been moving like that. Yeah. His body hasn't moved like that in 2 years. The jerk reactions and all that. He gets hurt and then they lose him for the season. I just don't know how it all plays. I mean, usually you would work somebody in slowly, right? Hey, you come in, you play a little bit. But, I mean, I don't know if this is any different than a backup quarterback situation. They don't play that much at all. Then they get to come in the game, and sometimes they tear it up, right? So I don't know how this scenario is going to play out. But like I told you, there's going to be two. This either going to be Deshaun is back or Deshaun need a whole lot of work.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out what the story is going to be the week afterwards for sure. But at that professional level, it's always next man up. And he's been a professional for a while. He knows. So hopefully he's got his body right, got his mind right. He knows the plays, right? Again, he knows the game. He's a professional athlete, but there's going to be some other things happening around the game. A lot of the women that have accused him are going to be there. So he's got to deal with
part right there is that part right there, and I read that too. That's an interesting psyche. Yeah. So the accusers that
I don't think he's mature enough to deal with that.
Think about it though.
I don't think he is.
The people that accuse you of this, that took hundreds of thousands, if not millions, from you,
grown folk money,
are going to be in the stands. all together, probably wearing some type of shirts to identify themselves that we are it, and you have to deal with that. And not only do you have to deal with that while you're during the game, you have to deal with that during pregame and deal with that after the game.
And he gonna hear the boos. He gonna. It doesn't matter where they're playing. Yeah, I think are they in Cleveland? Doesn't matter.
I'm not sure if they're in Cleveland or Texas.
He got them extra spidey senses too. A quarterback, a professional athlete. He can hear. He will hear all of that repercussion. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't. I'm surprised he didn't get in the situation like T.O. got in. To be honest with you, I don't know. It's going to be crazy, man.
We'll
the owner gave them tickets for free. Oh, I'm sure. Hey, Tony, if it was me, they would be on the sideline.
They would. Yeah, they wouldn't be in the box. They would be on the field.
On the sideline.
They would be on the field, man.
I want him to hear their voices from the sideline screaming at him. That's where they would be.
They would be in the end zone, man. I mean, I'm just saying. Listen, 5-year deal, $230 million guaranteed. Cleveland has thrown everything at this young man. So stand up, step up, play the game. But let's not be forgetful of these legal ramifications as well. All right. So but he still got that on in his back pocket that he has to deal with.
I thought he settled. I thought he settled with the last one already. I think he settled.
Come on. There's again. I'll say the number. $230 million.
That's what I'm saying.
When you after he plays Saturday and he gets that game check, someone is going to be looking for some more. There's going to be a conversation about some more.
Let's be clear. I mean, the people that are listening that haven't watched this before, be clear. He's not accused of rape. He's accused of fondling women, grabbing them inappropriately and touching them. So, he didn't rape anyone. He didn't sexually violate anyone in that aspect, but he is guilty. He has been accused of fondling women and touching them inappropriately and exposing himself in front of women. So, let's just be. I want to be clear very clear of that because I know he gets a bad thing like he raped these women and nothing. That wasn't the case at all. He didn't do that. So I think he'll be able, that what he did was bad enough, and doing it to as many women is bad enough, but it's not rape. Rape is a whole different violation of somebody's, of somebody's body and all that good stuff. So he didn't do that, but I hope Deshaun is able to get that part together of his life as well as get together on the field.
We'll find out. We'll see what's going on. Let's get into kind of a follow-up story here. Brett Favre. I liked him when he played. No, I no longer am fond of this man. He is now in the same category as Kanye West for me.
Woo!
That's right. He is in the same category as Kanye West, and
let's be clear, okay?
I can't rock with him no more. Yeah, I can't rock with him no more. That's right. I got my triggers. I got my sound effects back. Listen, we officially having the show now. So Brett Favre, y'all know we talked about this whole situation. This man misappropriating funds within the Mississippi Department of Human Services. He put some money. He used his influence to talk to folks about getting some money to build some new volleyball facilities for the school. Why volleyball? Well, his daughter plays volleyball at this particular school. So he threw some of that Favre weight around and helped coerce and drive some deposits into the volleyball field and volleyball court and volleyball program at the school. Favre is I'll use Tony Davis's statement. He's feeling a little butthurt, and he wants these charges that have been filed against him dropped. He wants these lawsuits removed. He wants these charges dropped. He says, he already paid the $1 million from the funds that he got for the speeches. He paid that money back. He thinks this is all now inappropriate and damaging his reputation. Go where you want to go. But again, that's the premise of the story here. Go ahead.
Well, before you do that, explain to the people where he took the funds from, or who he took it from before we move forward. Go ahead, explain who he took the money from.
Well, he took it from Human Services within Mississippi.
So who's that money supposed to go to?
He took it from, what was it the homeless, or was it the it was definitely I don't remember exactly what I can find it, but it was definitely the disenfranchised members of the community, folks who actually needed the money, right? It was folks down on their. It was money. Now I'm getting mad. It was money earmarked for folks who were down on their luck, who actually needed this cash because of whatever, right? Health, welfare, lost their job, COVID, this, and this. There was money put aside to help folks that were down. And Brett Favre took that money from them.
Yeah. But also, we got to think. So people got to understand the plight of Mississippi, right? So Mississippi not only is one of the poorest states in our United States.
Yeah.
They also just went through the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Now you're dealing, and then they just got finished dealing with the hurricane situations that happened in Mississippi. Now we're going back to winter again. And this man took $5 million from that fund that is supposed to help those displaced people.
Yeah.
Or he took it, got it donated to the school with his influence, and he wants these charges to be dismissed. I'm sorry, there's no reason for it to be dismissed. You were involved as from what I understand, there was text messages and information that went back and forth. Him knowing that these funds were getting ready to go to this school, and that he knew what fund it was coming out of.
Yeah,
he knew where it was coming from,
because he was dealing with somebody black and white. Here it is, right here. It was $5 million in welfare money.
Yeah,
right? And that's taken from the poorest of the poor, the most needy. Regardless of what you think about assistance and welfare and whatever the case may be, there's actually folks in those systems that need assistance, right? There are actually folks who.
That's why I was laying down the platform. People that had these hurricanes, these tornadoes, people that need food, they need stuff they need help. Let's be honest, they need help in living day to day. And this man took that kind of money from them. And the part of this, he's mad because it's going to damage his image. When actually, in retrospect, who cares about your image, man? You're a thief. You use your influence to take money to give it to someone, that it really wasn't needed, and it was something he could have funded himself. All honesty, he could have figured out ways to raise the money himself, and he didn't. So he doesn't want his reputation so-called tarnished because he did this when actuality he did.
He says he's been unjustly smeared in the media.
It's no different than the president using his influence to have sexual relations with somebody in the White House. It's no different than that. We chastise that person for doing it. It's no different than one of the, this last president using his influence to start a riot on Capitol Hill. He uses influence to take money. Those are criminal. Those are punishable by criminal activity, and your name should be slain through the mud for doing it.
Yep.
Because in retrospect, the part that I think makes everybody upset, especially from my world, is that Jameis Winston stole $32 worth of crab when he was in college, and it was blasted all over Sports Center all day, every day because
hold on, pause, because everyone doesn't know that particular story, right? I mean, that's go into that. What happened to Jameis, and everyone knows.
Okay. Jameis Winston was an athlete, was a quarterback in college.
Yeah,
he went to the grocery store. One of the people he knew worked there hooked him up with some crab legs.
Crab legs, folks.
Crab legs. He took the crab legs. Obviously, left the store. They said he stole the crab legs. That was on Sports Center for a whole week and the headline of every newspaper.
Yes, it was.
Brett Favre steals $5 million from the welfare fund, and you barely hear any news about it.
Don't hear nothing.
And the fact of the matter, he has an audacity to say, I want this to be dismissed.
Yeah. They get this brother for some crab legs. And we can talk about a whole bunch of other stories. We can bring in all types of angles to this particular conversation. We can talk race. We can talk whatever. We can can talk Democrat, Republican. We can talk all that. There's a whole bunch of different avenues. But you're right. This man, Hall of Famer, great athlete, fun to watch, right?
Yeah.
Did some good things back in the day, but did this thing right here using his influence, took $5 million from the least of us.
Yeah.
And nobody else is talking about it.
Hey man, and from the poorest of the poor, you took it from. You took it from the people that need it the most. You didn't take it from some hedge fund where all these people got money, or you took it from the poorest of the poor. Now I'm talking about the elderly that need this money in order to survive, to help subsidize the Social Security when they never worked all their lives. Let's talk about the mom and pop that just lost their house in the floods and all that stuff that happened. Yeah. He took money away from them. So you got to rationalize and understand where he took this money from. People that were in need. Jackson, Mississippi had probably the worst water crisis we ever had. They had no water, zero zip water. I don't know if you ever tried to live without no water, but try to
come on now, make it plain, brother. Talk about it now
and see how it is. This person, he took that money from those people that needed that money the most, and now all of a sudden you want to say, "Hey, please forgive me. I'll wash my hands of it. I pay back the $1 million that I was supposed to speak in engagements."
Yeah.
But I'm not. But what about the $5 million that you took from these people? Yeah. What's going to happen?
Stop talking bad about me. Stop. Drop these charges and leave me alone. Yeah, I can't get any more endorsement deals.
But you got to understand though, those people already suffered through those times. When I needed some money, and they said they're having any fun, I'm already don't have no water. I'm starving. I don't have any food. Yeah. So it's a bigger picture than that. Why do you think situations happen? I'm poor. I have nothing. The little bit of money I was supposed to get is now gone. So what do you expect me to do? I go into survival mode. Hate to tell you that, but it has to be that way. I have to go in survival mode. So you wonder why crime is high in those areas. Really? They have nothing. Even the little bit they were supposed to get, that's gone too. So think about it. I have no water. I have no food. I got a family to feed. There's no jobs. My lights are getting turned off. What am I supposed to do? Don't tell me crime is not crime. You're not supposed to commit a crime.
Mm-hmm.
What else am I supposed to do? I have no other avenues around me to do anything but to commit a crime to make some money to feed my family. I'm not excusing people doing criminal activity, but I can damn sure empathize.
Yeah. You do what you got to do. And just like Tony is saying, and just like Tony is saying right here, a lot of folks in Mississippi, country. For what reason, whatever, right? Using the bathroom in the woods because they don't have running water in the house.
Yep.
Today, 2022, almost 2023. Now, either no fault of their own. Maybe they want to live like that. maybe they still down with the outhouse situation or whatever the case may be. But, a lot of it is due to, again, these natural disasters that we've been talking about: floods, hurricanes, running. Man, that's not natural. The water piece, that's the state that needs to deal with that. But then again, you just don't.
But see, you got to think about that. So also, okay, imagine a person that doesn't have running water, right? They don't have running water. How much more do you think they need that kind of money in order to survive?
That's the part that really just irks me, right? I mean, just
they need that more than ever. They need that more than ever to be. And let's talk about the person that's living in the house with no running water. What kind of education system is in that neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
What's there? They don't know anything about computers. Hey, the years of sharecropping and all that stuff is over with. Farming is a tool that's done by machines now, not by humans.
That's true.
So you tell me what I'm supposed to do.
There's a trickle down effect on the economy right there. How can I be a valuable asset to the community if, one, I don't have water, and you're gonna take money that was earmarked for me anyway? I can't win. I can't win.
Yeah. So you're gonna get, like I said, people get mad about the crime situation and all these deals, and people, they always say, hey, they're killing their own self. They're in their own neighborhood. They're doing this and doing that in that neighborhood. It stays down there. Again, look at the trickle effect. This is just a microcosm of what happens. Somebody rich takes more of the money from the poor that's supposed to help them, and now you're asking the poor, hey, just still stay poor. Just figure out a way to survive. Well, how am I supposed to survive? I have no other means. You give me piss poor education. You really don't give me nowhere to live. There's no jobs and no opportunities where I'm at. So you tell me what am I supposed to do? Explain to me what am I supposed to do, because I don't even have the tool set to become an asset to my community.
Tell me what I'm supposed to do.
And better yet, not tell me
what I'm supposed to do.
Help me figure out what I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
That money there was supposed to help a little bit. That money's gone. Help me, what am I supposed to do? So you tell me so you know what I'm supposed to do? This is what I'm supposed to do in their eyes. I'm supposed to go out and commit a crime, go to jail, and be another commodity for you.
Right.
That's the cycle. People don't understand the cycle.
That's statistic right there. That's being another statistic.
So, I mean, pardon my French, Brett Favre's an asshole.
Yeah, he is. He is. Oh, he is.
Yeah. He's an asshole. So, I mean, and him being an asshole like that, and him figuring out there's no remorse or no ramifications for what he did, either he's a dumb asshole or he's just a plain ass. He don't really just care. And I think it's the latter. He just doesn't care.
He just doesn't care. I think that's he's in his own ecosystem, and again, not making assumptions, not stereotyping, whatever. But I mean, writing's on the wall, and y'all can read it too. Yeah. Again, I'll put the description, the link to the story, and do your own research. Don't just believe us. We sitting here pontificating.
The thing that upsets me, people just look at the surface, right? They think the surface is no.
Yeah, like I say, do your own research, folks. Do your own research.
There's a trickle effect to all that, man. And if anybody doesn't have any money, trust me, $5 million could change everything. In my entire community. Some of those entire communities, $5 million would change everything.
Go a long way.
And the fact of the matter is that he stole that kind of money. Yeah, he stole that kind of money, man, and not to have any remorse or have any empathy to give it back or try to fix the situation, just like, please let it go away. That's bad, man. I think that's bad. And I lost a lot of respect for him. I respect him on the football field because he was a great player, but him as a human being, I lose a lot of respect for him because he knows what he did. And he's trying to just sweep it under the rug. And the fact of the matter that they put this on the back page and it's never on the front page. It's never on the front page. And like I said, and I'll say it's race. Jameis Winston, a young African-American male about to make millions, you put him on the front page for getting $32 worth of crab. And Brett Favre, some of you guys have never heard of the story until we mentioned it.
All right. I just pulled up a statistic here, and we're going to go on to the next subject here, but this is crazy right here. I want to say shouts out to Kiona Van Hook. Thank you for being here. Yeah, he just don't care because it does nothing to him. What's kind of thrown me for a loop is, Tony asked an innocent question. What's the minimum wage in Mississippi?
$6, $7 maybe. Is that, if that?
Bro, that's the minimum wage. $7.25 is the minimum wage.
$7.20. Yeah. Yep.
What you gonna do for $7 and it hasn't changed in a few years since 2019. The minimum wage in Mississippi is $7.25 an hour. What you gonna
So
do
you mean
with
to
that?
tell me they don't need that welfare help? And this is not a black and white thing. This is a people in this environment thing.
I know a lot of folks here either are in California or have lived in California. They're in the chat in the comments right now. When was the last time you made $7.25 an hour for your job?
Yeah.
Come on now.
And didn't need any extra assistance. From anywhere. You can't, man. You can't survive. And I don't care if you're in Mississippi, California, or New York City. It's impossible to survive in that situation the way everything's up because gas prices are up in Mississippi. Food costs just more in Mississippi.
You can't get gas. No. This month you can't get gas at $7.25. This month you can only
well, that's
right?
in California.
I mean, that's the conversation that you gotta have at your dinner
yeah.
table.
Yeah. So
for $7.25 per hour this month, you work 40 hours. You can't have gas. You need a bicycle. And these are the folks that Brett Favre took the money from.
Yeah. Right? And I think people, like I said, I don't think people understand the trickle effect.
It's been since back in 1987 that Tony Davis made money at that rate, and here we are in 2022, and this is still the prevailing rate. Come on now.
Yeah, and like I said, man, the trickle effect in that cycle,
crazy.
It just never ends because, like I said, if you're in a situation where there's no jobs, man, there's I don't have any assistance. I have very little education because also Mississippi is the poorest educated state as far as high school is concerned, and the test scores. So I have a very lackluster education. I don't have money. What do you expect any young man or woman to do? Well, I mean, honestly, you got to ask yourself if you're sitting on your couch right now, if you don't have nothing and there's no food on the table, the little bit of means you can make can only go so far. At what point do you say, you know what, I got to break the law in order to survive? And that's a lot of people. That's whether it's selling something illegally or doing something illegally. I just believe at some point survival mindset is going to kick in. And there, they have a high population of prison rate in Mississippi. It's no fact, look it up.
Yeah.
That cycle continues, man. I get to a point where I got to survive rate. I have to do something outside of my means. I don't mean to. I don't want to. But I got to do what I got to do. I got to feed my family. I got to feed myself.
Especially if you got dependents, if you got other folks living with you. So we're not going to beat this dead horse. But again, folks, now you understand why Montel and I are leaning heavy into this, right? Because this matters, and the national coverage of this particular situation isn't happening, right? So just again, as we said, think about what you would do if you were in that situation. Think about what you at 40, 50, 60 years old were making $7.25 an hour. And if you had $5 million that was gifted to you and somebody came and took it and built a volleyball stadium, marinate on that. Let's go on to the next story, man. Because I'm right. I mean, that's how I internalize a lot of these stories, and there's been many times where I've had to take time off because we get into it, and I just start thinking about all sides of it, how I would be affected by it. But let's stay in the area. Let's stay in Mississippi. Let's talk about an interesting situation here. Deion Sanders. Look, we done told y'all from the jump too. Deion Sanders is a beast. He been making a lot of noise. Deion Sanders is winning. Deion Sanders is bringing big names and big bodies to the program. He's building new facilities. He's doing everything the right way, and that is upsetting some folks. Right, folks. If you're not winning unless you got some haters, and you got a couple of haters, but he's got some folks who got money that are offering him some opportunities outside of Jackson State football program. Colorado's reached out to him and said, "Hey man, come on over here and do what you did over there with them fellas, and come do it with us."
Yeah,
and it's not speculation. Deion is acknowledging that he's been offered the position at Colorado. So we don't know any specifics in terms of cash or money or incentives or what they would offer him, what's in the contract, what's in the deal, but that's out there. Deion could possibly be going to Colorado. A lot of folks are already putting out their opinion pieces and saying, "Hey, brother, don't go." You done built so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
We on a roll again. We 11-0. We winning. We looking good. We got swagger. We got good feeling. Stay here and finish what you want, what you've started. And Deion is even saying that, right? He said
yeah,
he's got his kids playing for him at Jackson
yeah,
State. He's saying,
yep,
I mean, there's
yep,
still more work to do.
yeah.
But what's today? Today, Wednesday. We will find out Saturday what his decision is, because Deion says he will tell his recruits what he's going to do this weekend. What you think about this,
Um,
man? What do you think about this? What do you think about this offer to Deion to move forward? Because I think there was a lot of doubt at the beginning of when all this started.
mhm.
Could Deion do what he's done? And he's done it.
Including
And
myself, including me,
all right,
I didn't
right,
know Deion was such a dynamic culture changer.
yeah,
Like he's changed the culture of not only Jackson State but of HBCU football as a whole.
yes,
He's
yep,
put them on a different platform.
yep,
He's gotten them where ESPN is televising the games every Thursday. You know, they got the HBCU game of the week on Thursdays or Wednesdays or something like that.
mm-hmm.
He's changed the trajectory and the outlook of what HBCU football looks like. And I didn't know he was that guy. I didn't know he was that powerful. I didn't know he was going to be able to do that. And he's done it. And he's done it in such an amazing fashion. And he's done everything the right way. He's used, his NFL resources and guys to help cultivate that program to be the way it is. And he's opened the doors for guys like in Tennessee State,
Mm-hmm.
and Grambling and all these guys, these ex-NFL players and coaches to get themselves involved in HBCU. So he's been open at Eddie George, at Tennessee State. So he's opening these doors just to showing how you can do it and how to be successful at it. Now, the job offer that he got in Colorado, I think it's a great job, and I don't think that's the right job for Deion. Me per se, I don't think that's the right fit.
Wow.
I think Deion has such deep roots in South Florida, which that job is open now. FIU, Florida International, is open now. He has the Colorado job that's already opening for him. But I think the true fit, this is just my personal opinion, for Deion, UNLV would be the perfect job for Deion Sanders. And this is what I say. UNLV would be the perfect job for Deion Sanders because one, his persona matches it, right? He matches the glitz and the glamour, the way he is a dynamic recruiter and a dynamic person. He fits that kind of Floyd Mayweather mystique and all those good things. I think if UNLV was to recruit him, I think he would be probably the second most important coach that school's ever had, next to Tartanian, the basketball coach that won the NCAA finals. I believe also he instantly sells tickets out at that big stadium now. There is no room, he can have a year where he's rebuilding, but the fact of the matter that Deion Sanders is there, he's shown that he can change the culture. Can you imagine what he could do at UNLV in Las Vegas under the glitz and glamour in that stadium with everybody that comes to there, where Las Vegas is starting to become the big booming city that it is, with NFL teams are trying to get a baseball team, the Oakland A's, to go there, and they're trying to get an NBA team started there pretty soon. What a perfect fit for Deion to be able to kickstart that off and be that guy, because he would make UNLV actually in the first year more important than the Raiders are there because of his dynamic. So I think UNLV would be
all that up.
I don't think,
yeah.
huh?
I'm soaking all that up. That actually makes a lot of sense.
It makes it makes almost too much sense. Right?
I'm gonna say it makes too much sense, to be honest.
It makes too much sense for him to be, but I think UNLV would be such an ideal place. If it's not UNLV, I don't think he jumps Jackson State to go to Colorado, because the recruiting aspect in Colorado is he's going to have to recruit the West Coast more so. He doesn't really have a West Coast foundation here. He's more of a South guy, Southern guy in that recruiting area. He's more Florida and pulling those guys up. I think you have a little bit more difficult pull. Even though he was able to get him to Jackson State, Colorado's a whole different little ball game. It's a little bit different in that.
I mean,
but in Las Vegas, he doesn't have that. Everybody can get to Las Vegas, and everybody can get to Las Vegas cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So pulling kids from Florida and Alabama and South Carolina, North Carolina to go to Las Vegas, and plus, what kid is not going to be starstruck when he gets to Las Vegas? You see all the lights and everything. Once the nighttime sets up, lights up.
It's a perfect place for someone nicknamed Primetime. Right. Right.
Also on that, imagine what kind of NIL deals he can be able to strike for his players, and not on himself and his program while he's there. Remember, you can do NIL. You can do NIL just for your program. So can you imagine Deion being on the billboard of the Mandalay Bay? He'll be on the billboard of every other of the Treasure Island.
Your research.
It makes, dude. When I thought about it, it just makes too much sense for him not to be in that situation and offered to go there and say, change our culture. Now, I think it's going to cost UNLV some money, but I believe they would better have enough money to draw him in there because he's going to be a draw in itself.
Yeah.
You know, think about the perfect weekend for a football fan. You go on Friday. You watch UNLV play Saturday against whoever your favorite college team. You watch on Sunday the Raiders play, and then you get to go home.
Man, okay, you didn't do some research on this. This is premeditated. I don't even know if UNLV is even on the plate here. But that would
they weren't on the plate. Wait, they weren't on the plate yesterday. But I bet you somebody after this is going to say something, and I know I tweeted it out.
I didn't just add a marker. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna cut that piece up right there, and I'm gonna send that out. That's in about an hour. That's gonna be out there on the airways, just in and of itself. That little clip of you.
I don't know why the ESPN analysts ain't saying that, but I know.
Come on, SVP. Where you at, brother? You need.
It just don't. It makes no sense for it not to be a perfect fit, and I believe they have enough money to offer him to make him a draw, or at least make him a sizable offer to say, hey, come here and check it out. Come here and check it out. Let's see if this is a place for you. And to me, with his persona, at least the persona he presents on TV, it's such a perfect fit. Exactly. We're talking about the Tartanian of football if he steps there. Deion would be bigger than John Robinson the day he steps on that field and coaches that team.
That would be hot. And Tony's talking about too. I mean, a better fit in Colorado would probably be Bieniemy, right? But again, I'm not sure if he's necessarily looking. But that since that was his alma mater, but that would be a better fit. That would make more sense. But your whole analysis and breakdown of UNLV, shouts out to the Mac Center out there, and I'd have been in the Mac Center a number of times. Man, that would be hot. That would be hot.
Hot. Can you imagine him coming to the basketball games and showing his show? I mean,
wow.
Deion has been. You got to think. Deion has not just been a draw for Jackson State for football. Their basketball team and women's basketball team, I think now is ranked because he's drawing basketball players and football players to go to that school now. Can you imagine with a venue like UNLV, what he could draw to that kind of crowd? What his persona, what everybody know who Primetime is and who they are, and bring those families? I mean, man. And then the fact that you get the families to stay in one of the hotels or the casino, they get comped for a nice room. I mean, man, the whole selling and the whole thing he could do on UNLV.
You got it right there. So all that is added on gravy and extra on top. But when you hit it about the NIL piece, now now he can get folks to come through and get sponsored by the Mandalay Bays and the Bellagio, whatever, right? He's got, shouts out and much respect to Mississippi, but again, it's apples and oranges. Now I got something I can put some coin in your pocket. Yeah, look, go be the bartender at Mandalay Bay for an hour. Here go $50,000 in your pocket because we can do that now, right? For these athletes.
Go be the bouncer in the club. You're a 300-pound lineman. Go be the bouncer in the club.
Right. Go on over to Planet Hollywood, hang out for a minute, just sign a couple of autographs because you can do that now.
Yeah.
So, serve some hamburgers to some people. Here go $10,000 for that. You got something to offer these students now, and the students aren't scrubs. The student athletes aren't scrubs. These are actually people kids who know how to play the game.
Yeah. I believe if Deion, I think Deion won't be apprehensive to moving to Las Vegas. Like, who's gonna say, "No, I'm not gonna move to Vegas and get that Lane Kiffin deal and move in a big old house and do my thing and play and practice out there." I believe. To me, I mean, I just see his persona. It just seems like a natural fit, man. He has that Floyd Mayweather mystique where he can draw so many people to come to the city and invest in the city and do all those things. I see Deion doing that same thing because everybody's going to want to come watch him play. Now UNLV goes from being a late night game to being a primetime game. And the better they get, the more primetime it's going to be because everybody wants to be in Vegas. Everybody wants to see the game. That same crew that's going to cover the Raiders that night is going to come over and cover you guys, cover the UNLV players.
UNLV be on ABC, like you say, prime time, major network.
Yeah,
that could be hot, right? So we're gonna tweet this out to everybody. Man,
if it happens,
Scott was still here with us.
If it happens, man, everybody better start like, yo, that dude, I'm on something, man, because I just think it just fits. It just fits. So
Montel said it, y'all.
Yeah, I want my percentage, brother, for selling it. I'm putting it out there. He needs to sell. I'm selling it. I'm speaking into existence. UNLV, Deion Sanders is the next coach.
Speak it into existence. I love it, man. All right, man. We got one more. We got one more story I want to share with the audience. Let's go and get right into it. Then I'll do the call to action after that. But you watching the World Cup?
I watched a little bit of it. I saw the US won. The 1-0 game. I saw some of the highlights of that. I don't usually watch the World Cup till Saturday when I can sit down and actually watch a little bit, because during the week the games are too long. But Iran,
just like baseball for you.
Iran score. Yeah, this is something stuff. But you have some more insight to this stuff.
Yeah, shouts out to the team. Listen, the women's national team for US is better than the men's. It just is. They actually win, right, consistently, and so I wish they were there. But the fellas is trying to make some noise, and so far they're making a little bit of noise. The fact that they beat Iran 1-0, which was great, right? Because so now they've moved into the round of 16, which is good. So it's a win and go home kind of thing. But the social, and we could have led with this because this is an actually interesting aspect as well. It's Iran, and when you think about the political climate of Iran, there are things that are in play there. There was already concern for the athletes because they, at a previous game, did not recite their national anthem after, I believe it was the game against Wales. So there was actually threats against the Iranian players' families that they would be jailed, tortured, kidnapped, whatever those things, just for that, just for not speaking the national anthem. Now, I am curious and concerned that now that they lost, and now that they lost to the United States, what that means. And here is, the story right here, New York Post: Iranians face retribution after they lose. So there's concern for the because soccer isn't as big in the U.S. as it is globally across the world. The rest of the world are true fanatics, not just fans. They're fanatics for soccer. And again, when you pit Iran versus United States, it's very similar, I think, to the USSR versus the U.S. in hockey back in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that feel and that importance. And for them cats to lose against the U.S., again, you worry about it in terms of safety for the family that's still back home. And then when these guys eventually come back home, what's going to happen to them as well. So I worry about that, and I think about that, and I just wanted to pit that out here, this conversation. The picture right here is, the Iran soccer players failed to sing their national anthem before facing off with England last week. Their families were reportedly threatened with imprisonment and torture if the team failed to behave during the match against the U.S. They behaved. They sang their national anthem, but again, something as we live in a democracy, we think as trivial as that, and you got imprisonment and torture for your family. Wow. Imagine that weight on your soldier, right? You coming out the tunnel, you trying to play. You got that weight too?
I cannot win with that on my shoulder. I've heard of incentive, but damn, man, I feel, my prayers go out to them. Yeah. Honestly, my prayers go out to them, because that's something that, we don't deal with in the United States. We don't have that to that extreme like that. And the fact of the matter that they got to kind of play a game, try to figure it out, win. And if you lose, it almost seems like it's a death sentence, right? Yeah. Something's going to happen to somebody in your family or you, because you failed in a game against an opponent in a situation like the World Cup. Man, that's a loss of words, because we don't deal with that over here. We don't have
Jesse Owens. Think about Jesse Owens when he beat the Nazis in the Olympics, right? I mean, again, they were talking all that smack, all that madness. We superior race, all this. Yeah, Jesse smoked all of them.
Yeah,
imagine that dude when he went back to
right?
What's that?
Do you know what happened to the people that lost? I have no idea what happened if they disappeared,
Right.
if their
See,
families got,
again,
we don't know.
different mindsets, different political systems, just different cultures, different types of things. And again, that was back then.
Yeah.
This was last week, right? So this
man,
type of stuff isn't gone.
You know, it's funny, man. I really don't. I mean, I don't know how to feel, but empathetic into the situation. I really don't know how to be like, you know, how to comment on it or where to go with it, because if that's the fact that they're going to be persecuted like that for the loss of the game and for their actions beforehand, I mean, I can only imagine they're going to try to scream asylum, right? They want to get out of the country. They want to wherever they're at right
somebody's
now.
going to defect, right? Like Tony said.
Yeah,
in the comments, somebody's defecting. But again, I wanted to bring that up just for folks again to have that different perspective that freedom ain't free. Shouts out to our service providers, our service men and women, veterans and current who help keep us in. You may not like everything all the time but we the best thing going on the planet. We are democracy.
You know what, man? And to add to that, you know what? To add to that, not only shout out to our women and men of service.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but shout out to our democracy. I mean, we actually have a reasonable way to have choice. Mm-hmm. Everybody as we can see, everybody doesn't have a choice.
Don't have a choice.
What they have to do.
Right. We can talk madness on Twitter, and we can talk madness on YouTube, right? And not have to worry about someone coming and cutting my feet off. Right.
Exactly.
We don't have, or imprisoning my wife or taking my kids to some concentration camp.
I think, including myself, we take it for granted, right? Because we live here and this is our life. And even though we don't got it all the way right.
Right.
We got it at least better than a lot. And I think that's the one thing that we always take advantage. We always take for granted. And, we always it sucks over here in democracy. President 45 is here doing all this madness, crazy stuff. Even though with all that, it's still better than me having to go home to my family because I lost a soccer game and I might be in prison, or they might torture or kill somebody in my family over something that minor. Or if I have an opinion, they may kill me. Or if I voice my opinion, they may kill me. This is crazy. On a side note, that you brought this up, I saw a special on a guy that's a painter, right? He's a painter in China, and he paints these political stuff that says sports voices his opinion. It involves sports and all kinds of things that he talks about. And he's been on a run for the government for the last 25 years because they're trying to kill him for painting these political things. So, I mean, imagine something as simple as that. Is we make a painting or we make a statement or we make an image that just, and all of a sudden it's about freedom and freedom of speech and how it involves the sports and all. It's nothing derogatory, crazy. But since he does that, since he's voicing his opinion, they want him dead. So can you imagine? We would be getting killed because we're talking like this on a doggone podcast.
Yeah,
voicing our opinion.
We would be enemy number one for sure, man. So
crazy. Yeah. So that's crazy, man. My prayers go out to those guys in Iran, man. I hope nothing happens to their family. I really do.
Hope it's just empty threats, but again, and those threats are coming from at the national level, right? So just wanted to bring folks' attention to that because again, just like Montel and I were saying, freedom ain't free, and just we okay here, right? It's not great every single day, but man, listen, we got the best thing going out here across the globe. Folks, go out and travel and see what other countries and other cultures have, so you can appreciate what you got here in these United States.
Not just a 2-day vacation or a week vacation.
Yeah, get some stamps in your passport, folks. Come on, get some stamps in the passport.
Don't go to the resort and say, "Hey, everything is cool. It's nice over here."
Oh, see now,
take your butt off the resort and go walk around.
Now
you're
getting in people's business. No, okay, the show's over now because now you're getting in people's business now.
Hey, Tony, I see you. Yeah, you saw the same thing. Exactly.
I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check that out. All right, hey man, we did it tonight, man. We had a great show, great engagement. I'm gonna check these numbers to see how we did. Like I said, I don't have nobody home tonight, so I'm gonna probably stay up all night and chop this up. But listen, man, take us home, man. I always leave that to you. Take us home.
Like I always say, man, let's get comfortable having an uncomfortable conversation. Now that we're in these holiday seasons, please reach out to somebody. Just let them know that you're thinking about them. That might be the difference from them doing something very drastic that we don't want none of them to do. So, again, everybody just say your prayers. reach out to a loved one, and tell everybody about Team No Sleep because we're coming with the heat.
Coming with the heat. We out, y'all.